I didn't say we didn't have chemistry. It's just enough banter.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
I
Oh,
didn't see you
oh.
there. This is the Interjections podcast, subtitled "The Undiscovered Decade," where we look back at the 1990s. We go within the month, 30 years back, to see what hidden gem might have appeared to us that we want to talk about. There's a good reason for the movie we talk about today, and I'll get into that. But we're covering the film Mulholland Falls, not to be confused with Mulholland Drive. We usually do a spinner wheel that I definitely set up where we pick someone to describe the film we're talking about. Now remember, if one of the Muppets comes up, you have to describe it as a Muppet.
no whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Oh,
It's
is it me?
it's Jeff. I think
You're
you're
gar-
who's Garvin?
Hello. Garvin is my Muppet alter ego.
It's the guy you write
Hello.
in when you go into a hotel to sleep with Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, something like that.
Sure.
So this old film. So it's your typical noir, detective noir, where Nick Nolte plays a crooked cop who likes to stare into the distance, drink whiskey, and investigate the murder of his mistresses. So it's Nick Nolte is the main cop. Jennifer Connelly is the victim that they're investigating the murder of. John Malkovich is a military general who is also a heavy suspect in the investigation. And then you got Treat Williams, who works on the military base that they sneak around to, and they sneak onto an atomic testing site to find some facts, and then they get into the whole discussion of the nuclear arms race on top of everything else, and nuclear testing, and just what starts as a simple cop. See, I don't know what the
Investigation. Yeah.
investigation.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's the
sir.
word you're probably looking for.
Yes, yeah. Investigation turns into like they kind of stumble upon a government cover up of certain things.
hmm
Um
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Basically it,
That's
and
the
it's
plot.
just
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a noir in the daytime,
Which I liked,
which
yeah.
is
You
good.
said that halfway through. Like you like when it's a sun-soaked noir.
Yeah, I like when the sun's out. It's very much it's LA noir. It's
Yeah,
basically, it's
yeah.
Sunbaked
trying to
noir.
think who were
Yeah. The other three guys.
the other three
So his
guys.
main partner is Chazz Palminteri, and then
Right, yeah, yeah,
that's the
yeah.
guy right behind Cory's head if you're watching this, because he has the four gangster squad guys.
The Bronx Tale
The
guy.
hat guy, yeah, Bronx Tale guy. But you also have Chris Penn and Michael Madsen are on their squad together. So they're the ones that go around busting skulls and figuring out crimes to solve.
By solving by causing more.
Well, the titular Mulholland Falls is the place that they sometimes bring crooks that they just have to disappear. It's just a cliffside on Mulholland Drive, which
There's
is
no
even more
water.
confusing. Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no waterfall.
In a cameo,
It's
William
just a
Peterson
cliff.
from CSI and Manhunter, right? That's the name of it.
Manhunter, yeah.
They take William Peterson, who's a heavy from Chicago. He's hiding out in LA. They find out he's on the take and they take him to Mulholland Falls and they throw him off the cliff. So that's basically just to get an
Yeah.
idea
They
that they're
pulled
not,
James Dean on him.
yeah, they're not quite straight cops. So you already get the sense that they have morals, but their morals are out for themselves. So
They're more
that's
like a vigilante squad almost with
right.
an edge.
Yeah.
And supposedly this squad really existed.
The Hat Squad.
Yeah. Later, Bruce Dern plays their commissioner, and he's playing a real LA commissioner. So these guys are based on a squad that existed, but the things that happened, especially in this film, didn't actually happen. Like
Right.
you mentioned John Malkovich covering the nuclear commission. That character didn't exist, but there was a nuclear commission.
Yeah.
The thing I like about this, before we go broader, is it reminds me of Chinatown, that kind of noir, where you start out thinking it's a simple story, but it has something to do with the broader landscape of Los Angeles and its
Right.
surrounding areas. Like the watershed initiative is going on in the background of Chinatown. The nuclear program is going on in the background of this.
The romance of California in the 50s
Mm-hmm.
and how seedy it was
Yeah,
as
I
well.
I just like how everything gets entangled, and I think this didn't get highlighted in the 90s because we have LA Confidential a year later, and I think that overshadows it a little bit as what we talk about from the 90s.
Right. Also, I think that had a richer ensemble. Like
Mm-hmm.
you just mentioned Chazz Palminteri. Chris Penn and Michael Madsen literally disappear into the upholstery of the car at a
Right.
certain point. They're nondescript. They have no personality other than being enforcers.
They're also there with them.
They just happen to be there. And actually, Chazz
For
Palminteri
good.
character, his one quirk is that he goes to therapy, which gets brought up as a running gag throughout the movie. That's not very funny to begin with.
Right. It might have
They
been in the
almost
90s.
they almost get weirdly postmodern with the pecking order because like, why are you always driving the car? I want to be up front. Can I drive the car?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, okay. So it's almost commenting on movies of the era.
Yeah, he's almost commenting on it by bringing up movies of their era with John Wayne,
Right,
the Cowboys and stuff. And
I love it when movies talk about this isn't a movie.
mm-hmm,
Well,
mm-hmm.
basically.
I get what you're saying is probably like you wish there was more camaraderie. They did sort
Right.
of congeal his partnership, Nick Nolte's partnership with Chazz Palminteri's, but the other
well,
two never got much to
automatically,
do.
I mean, as an audience member, you see four detectives in one car, you know at least two of them are going to die by the middle of the movie.
You would think.
That didn't
This one they
happen.
didn't actually.
They just kind of disappeared during the finale.
But the other thing about Mulholland Falls, like the cliff, it's a clue for later on in the movie.
It kind of is, yeah.
I
Because
don't
he
know how
not
deep we want to get into the actual like murder
metaphors.
plot investigation and
Well,
like
yeah, that's the other half of it.
I know that this
We
is
spoil
just,
everything. Don't worry.
Corey, Jeff, and Tristan spoil
We're
movies,
7
but
years into it. We gotta not worry about spoiling
this
stuff.
movie's 30 years old. If you haven't seen it at this point, fuck
Yeah,
you.
yeah. She dies in the
Watch.
first 5 minutes. We see
God,
that she's dead.
yeah.
So it's the investigation of her murder.
Well, it's cool because the movie starts off with this homemade black and white footage that is like the film that the whole plot circulates around that he's investigating, which shows just like random bits and people. There's people at a party. There's all this, and then less than 2 minutes in, there's John Malkovich and Jennifer Connelly doing it, and I'm like, I was very
That's a
surprised
hook.
this was a Tristan pick because he actually started this. He was just like when he started
Now,
it.
don't worry, this isn't a
He's
Cory
like, by
film.
the way, I picked this one.
And
Yeah, I
Jeff's
bet.
like, oh, I bet
I
there's boobs in the first 5 minutes.
I had to look at Mr. Skin before I picked this one. So.
right.
Yeah, listen, I didn't know this was gonna happen the first time I watched this, so
Did you
Oh,
watch
yeah,
this with your
sure.
mother the first time? Like,
yeah. So this was a much
What?
more comfortable watch. Well, we didn't know it was gonna be about that, you know.
I know you'd seen this before.
did you
I
see
had
it
seen,
in?
yeah, this is why I picked this.
But you watched it like
Okay.
at home, right? You didn't like go to the
Yeah.
theater.
No, I wasn't 10 when I saw this. I had heard about this because, oh, it's the woman from The Rocketeer, which I
Oh,
had seen in
oh,
theaters.
Right.
boy,
And,
howdy,
and
is
they're
it?
like, no,
Yeah.
it's rated R. So I'd always seen this in like Blockbuster and wanted to rent it. And by the time I saw it, it was like 2011. So I was a full adult. But, my parents and I would watch things that sometimes had nudity in it. We're understanding of that happening. When it's a rated R film, you have to expect that might happen.
Right.
So we were
That
comfortable
was
enough just not to look at each other when that
that was
happened.
about what got you an R rating back in the
Hmm.
90s anyway, was either nudity or someone's head gets blown off.
Well, even that violence never really gets you
They
that
never really
bad.
cared about
Yeah,
violence.
no,
Yeah,
that's
that's
true,
the
but if
problem with
the
movies.
language.
Yeah, did they say fuck or anything in this? I don't remember.
They did a
I think Nick
couple
Nolte did
times.
at the
They
end.
must
It
have.
felt off though, because even like I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because I've seen too many like Turner Classic Movies, and so anytime I see people even in a gangster film from the 50s, I'm like, nobody said fuck. That's not
Right.
that word wasn't invented until 1978. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
That's like the new who's that famous lawyer? They just remade it with John Lithgow and he's got two
Perry
names.
Mason.
Perry Mason. They just remade Perry Mason. And I think they say fuck a bunch in it, and I'm like, whoa. So I never
They do
really
that in Star Trek now.
I know. It feels
What?
weird. Yeah,
Off
Starfleet
putting.
Academy, they had some cursing. And
Oh
it felt like they
man.
were purposefully breaking the wall.
I thought the whole point of Star Trek was like we've moved past.
Wholesome.
I mean, they get around it in stuff like Buffy or Firefly by saying fracking. That was the cutesy way to say fuck.
It's
How do
another
we feel about
deep
Lee
dive topic.
Tamahori's direction here?
I think, been a bit of a fan of Tamahori over the years. I was a fan of, we can get into other films, but specifically for this one, I thought
Okay.
I don't know how to say this other than it felt lived in. Like they do go out to the desert, like you see in the background of Cory shot, but
Yeah.
it's just kind of like he gets things done. He's like a workman director, I guess you could say.
He's very
Nothing
much a
feels
gun for
off.
hire at a certain point.
Yeah, and I think that you can tell in other films. Like the real reason that I wanted to bring up that I chose this film, I noticed at some point that we had covered three of the four Pierce Brosnan Bond directors. Michael Apted.
Martin Campbell.
Yeah, Martin Campbell is the one that does Goldeneye. Roger Spottiswoode, that's the other one. He does World Is Not Enough, right? No, he does Tomorrow Never Dies. And then Michael Apted does World Is Not Enough. And so Lee Tamahori, I noticed, he had, I think, two more films in the 90s. This and
The Edge.
The Edge, yes. And so I wanted to do this because I liked it. And it fit in our schedule. So I was like, great. Now we can talk about the fact that there were 4 decent workman Bond directors that we happened to cover. One of their other films that happened to be hidden gems.
Right.
The other ones we did were Air America, No Escape, and Thunderheart. So I think it's a nice collection. I think they were all decent directors that just got the job done, you know? And that may be why this didn't necessarily stand out to audiences. I do think maybe it was just released on a weekend that people aren't going to the theaters and there was a glut of things coming out. That could be a reason it didn't perform as well, but
Right.
I don't know. I'm not looking for why something doesn't compete per se.
Right.
But I don't think it was because of Tamahori's direction. If you want to see anything that really exemplifies what he brought to cinema, it's Once Were Warriors, which was his debut film about New Zealand. It has Tamara Morrison as an alcoholic day worker that fights with his wife and gets in trouble with the law and stuff. So trying to accept the people that are invading his town, like the gentrification of New Zealand. Very, very poignant film, rough about alcoholism. But very good. I think if nothing else from this, it should broaden our interest in all these other people, you know?
Yeah.
So, but as for this film, I think the aspects that I think shined for me were the production design. The music stood out really well this time.
Well, it's funny because you were talking about how it reminds you of Chinatown. Wasn't it the same production designer
I believe it
as
was.
Chinatown?
So they probably just found the
Yeah.
There
same.
you go.
They used the same hats.
Right.
The cinematography, though, I want to talk about for a second because
Mhm.
Haskell Wexler did that. He was really big into doing. He did a lot of documentaries during his day, so which is why it was interesting that he did this one because it gave it that sort of gritty, like we're gonna follow this beat cop type man on the street look. And definitely they keep cutting back and forth between the investigation and the film within the film with all this secret footage that had been shot that they keep going back to and referencing. So it's just there was definitely a documentary feel to it. So I think he
Especially with
was
the footage, yeah.
he was a
And
good call for the job.
I feel like to Tamahori, that sort of relays this sense of Nick Nolte's getting caught up in remembering and wishing that did he do something wrong to hurt his wife, who we never mentioned, Melanie Griffith
Oh,
was his
yes.
wife, or was he actually really in love with Jennifer Connelly's character, wishes he had gone with her.
Right.
So I think he uses the footage to jam into our brain that that's constantly on his mind when he's supposed to be doing his job. Is it getting in the way of the police work?
Yeah.
But funny, bringing up Melanie Griffith, doing some of the research on this, I found that she won Worst Supporting Actress at the Razzies for this. Isn't that
She's
wild?
barely in it.
She's barely in
That's
it. She
rough. Yeah,
did
she
nothing in
was.
this.
Yeah, she almost has kind of a thankless role.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
not doing anything
She's
wrong.
just there to be cheated on and find affair evidence and cry
Right.
in the basement.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe you can answer me this, Corey. She was also nominated this year for a movie called Two of Us or Two for Us, I think it was called.
With Antonio Banderas.
And Daryl Hannah, yeah.
Too much.
Too Much. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
She was nominated for that as well. So she was in 2 bad films in '96. And I think sometimes the Razzies look at the box office and think, well, this must not have been good.
Right.
They might not have even seen this. That's what I'm starting to think.
I'm sure
Like
they didn't.
they pick on people like Sylvester Stallone or who was infamous.
Shelley Duvall?
Yeah, they picked on Shelley Duvall because they knew that it was a difficult performance. Like they're kind of just assholes about that. So I
Yeah.
noticed that Melanie Griffith, this was her 5th and 6th nomination. And 4 of the 6 films aren't that bad. The other 2 are just kind of dumb anyway. Like, I think they're just picking on her because she was a Nepo baby, you know? And she's in romantic comedies that don't perform well. This just kind of rose to the top because they wanted to punish her somehow. I think it's something we can ignore, though. The Razzies aren't necessarily always informative on what's actually not great for the year. I want to defend her performance in saying that I think everyone's doing a decent job in this film. Nothing felt off in the movie. I think this could have been a bigger hit if maybe it was marketed better. I don't know. I didn't look into reasons why this could be a hidden gem, you know? I just think it's a solid film, not like a perfect one, but
The hidden gem is uranium glass.
it is interesting to talk about the nuclear program in this day and age and see what it was thought about 30 years ago. Like now that we've seen Oppenheimer, do a deeper dive into the creators of that. So it's kind of interesting to compare the two.
Yeah,
Because this
it was.
is
This
sort
is
of inserted in.
from 30 years ago, but they were talking about, because this is what, 1955-ish? It was
Early
definitely, because
50s.
it's like, how does the movie handle it as a film from the 90s versus how do the characters handle it as a story from the 50s, which is 10 years after the bombs dropped.
Yeah, I kept thinking about like their ages, how they might have been in World War II.
Oh yeah, they were all
You know,
definitely.
Nick Nolte implies they asked, "Did you ever injure your back?" And he's like, "I got shot there." And we were
Yeah, I
like,
took a bullet
"Uh-huh.
there.
So which battle were you in?" I kind of I like some of the dialogue because of that. It just inserts things that build character
I
to
got into the Battle of the Bourbon Barrel.
yeah.
Andrew McCarthy has a crucial role.
Yeah, and I sort of had forgotten about that from the first time I watched it. So I liked his performance here. I did read that Lee Tamahori had, or actually Jeff read and was telling me that they had more footage from that home movie, and they had a whole sequence where you see that party and probably other things that build up characters like Andrew McCarthy's.
Mm.
So I'm kind of curious to have seen their interactions more. I wonder if there were scenes in which Nick Nolte had met Andrew McCarthy before. That could have been interesting to entangle him even more within that world.
Yeah, because the introduction scene is kind of awkward because he just finds him on the beachside and he looks besotted.
You figure out that Nick Nolte knows where to find him.
Right.
So they must have known each other before this.
Yeah.
But it's only implied, and maybe in Tamahori's original cut, they had more to do with
It
each
does
other.
feel cut down.
He said that the footage was mysteriously lost at the studio. So
Mm.
there's no Tamahori cut.
Interesting.
But yeah, I would have liked to have seen Andrew McCarthy's character a little more fleshed out. Just like you were saying, I wonder if there's more about Chris Penn and Michael Madsen that brings their characters depth.
Right.
Melanie Griffith probably lost some stuff.
Yeah, there was a long cut. I mean, this did feel kind of slow at certain points, but I know that they said that there was a longer cut.
I remember you said there was a quote from Tamahori that he felt pacing was a little
Yeah,
too much,
I'm trying to
right?
find it. Oh yeah, he initially had a 12-minute opening set during an A-bomb test. Had to make further cuts as the studio felt the film's pace was too slow. He explained that in the longer cut, the relationships between the characters are far more complicated and developed. Plus, it gave the film a backstory that explained what actually happened with much more clarity. As a result, the film's pace increased, but it made little sense in the end.
Yeah. You know what I'm thinking about as you're saying that? I was thinking more about they showcase the corner pointing out that Jennifer Connelly's character has some of that glass in her foot. So I'm wondering if this scene where they see the A-bomb, they're too close. And so she gets hit. And then when you see Nick Nolte go into the hospital on the base later, all these people are sick. So they could have implied that she figures out that she would be sick too. And so she's going to blow the whole thing up, no pun intended. That's why she's killed. So it would make more sense if we see her figuring it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have been better. I do think this could have improved a little bit, but I wonder what would have been cut in favor of making more sense. Because I agree that pacing already was a little languid. So
It's a little
Yeah.
torpid.
I don't know, because I think like if you cut more out, like, in order for it to count as a noir or a detective film, like there needs to be a certain amount of like
hot dog eating.
staring out windows, hot dog eating. Like there's things that like you literally can't cut anything. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah. I mean, I really think the first half hour is paced well. They're investigating something, and then it slows down once he keeps thinking about everything that happens. So I wonder if reordering of scenes would help the pace. I'm not trying to solve it, honestly. I'm fine with what we got. I am happy with this film, but I know I like trying to solve other films, so maybe I should back off. We covered Nick Nolte at least once before in I'll Do Anything. I think he's giving a thoughtful performance in this. You can see that on his face in some of the scenes. That's what I like about noirs. I just think it's a nice piece of a genre we don't get much anymore.
Yeah.
And of course, you mentioned LA Noir earlier. That video game came out of stuff like this in LA Confidential. I think I just like this genre. That might be a lot of it.
I wonder if David Chase watched this and this was like what got the ideas for The Sopranos. Hey, what if a gangster was going to therapy?
I just want to watch the ducks, Max. There are no ducks in LA. You have any thoughts, Corey, about I feel like you didn't like this as much as me. Maybe I'm
No,
trying to
not
say.
really.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what were the detriments? Had you ever seen this?
I'd never seen it before.
Oh, okay, cool. So
So yeah, I
I
watched
think
it
I've
and I was
talked
wondering
enough.
why it's kind of obscure, but then when I watched it, I'm like, okay, I could tell that this has been a lot of these movies that we end up watching You can tell that there's a longer cut.
Mm.
I don't want to fault the theatrical cut that we got, but it is very superficial.
Hmm.
And it is kind of style over substance. And when you do get to the end game is very predictable about what the conspiracy was. I know that this is taken from real life, but the fact that you have these four pretty dominant actors and two of them are given almost nothing to do except be window dressing, it's kind of disappointing. But I know it's hard to juggle, having four fully realized characters in something like this without the runtime getting bloated.
That's what happened to Gangster Squad. They try to fit everybody in and
Right.
actually give
And
them
Gangster Squad's not good
backstories.
either.
Right. And I think they try to do what you wanted and it doesn't work either.
Right. I guess LA Confidential is one of the few
Mm-hmm.
where they actually end up doing that because you got Guy Pearce, Russell Crowe, Kevin Spacey, and some of the other guys getting a lot more to do.
Yeah, you get a little bit of each of them. So maybe if they're all on equal footing. But
Right.
Gangster Squad focuses on Ryan Gosling. This focuses on Nick Nolte. So because it's so personal to both of them, they're drugged down because you'd rather see the team,
Right.
Especially in something called Gangster Squad. I think that's worse for that.
I think that movie's worse. That movie's almost like a graphic novel. I wasn't too keen on this movie. I'd probably give it a C.
Okay. Nick Nolte was in Gangster Squad too. He plays the Bruce Dern
That's
character.
right.
He's literally the same chief they're playing.
Oh, it's a spiritual successor then, maybe.
It's like that's why I think he was cast.
Oh, I'm sure.
So
It's like, hey, remember that movie that failed in the 90s? You want to reprise that
no
role?
one saw but Tristan and Ruben Fleischer.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there was a reason it was always on the shelf at Blockbuster.
Right.
Yeah, there's that.
Honestly, the only thing I remember from the publicity for the movie was the Jennifer Connelly scenes because as kids we were very hormonal and we looked it up.
Well, you were like 12 at this point, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I like the film, and maybe I'm a little biased because I like the genre and Jennifer Connelly, but kind of want to give it an A minus.
That's okay.
I'm happy to say that I was a little worried that I wouldn't like it as much as I did the first time. I actually liked it more. So,
Okay. What'd you think,
Nice.
Jay?
I'm gonna go with a B, just for pacing purposes. Everything else, like I enjoyed it.
I can certainly see why you wouldn't like it, and that's honestly a better grade than you've given other things. So,
Oh yeah.
and if those issues are what the issues are, it's not the worst film we've watched.
No.
It's just kind of in the middle. I think this is kind of like what do we used to say, a guilty pleasure?
Yeah.
I think this is sort of a guilty pleasure for me.
We also, I don't think we impressed upon just how much my man Treat Williams was. He was very underrated in this film.
Did you see it coming that he'd be the villain though?
Neither
of you.
Not really. Well, I was just no. My concern was because you said one of the Baldwins was in it,
Yeah.
and then we were
Oh,
like
Daniel.
maybe like 30 or 40 minutes into the movie, and I'm like I couldn't remember what they look like, so I was like, "Is that him?" And Tristan's like, "No, you'll
every
know."
new character is like, is that Daniel Baldwin?
Is that
No,
Baldwin?
that's
You don't
And
know
then I'm
Daniel
like,
Rob
Baldwin?
Lowe.
But then I'm like, should we be worried that if he's showing up this late into the movie, is he the bad guy? Like,
Right. There were a lot of cameos in this. Like
And
the
that's
Bruce
what
Dern
happened
character doesn't come till later.
I don't
Even
think he was
Malkovich
meant to be a
doesn't.
cameo though.
Right.
No,
I'm sure
that's
Daniel
what
Baldwin was in more of the heavier cut.
Yeah,
Right.
you got, and then the same thing with Treat Williams, and I'm like, well, one of them is going to be the bad guy.
Tree Williams was a little bit typecast as that.
I did like when they
Okay.
figured it
We'll
out.
see in 2
though.
months.
Exactly.
But anyway, yeah, B.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine. Definitely a guilty pleasure. That's what I'm coming down
Sure.
on now. Because I think I just like
Oh, so
seeing these
guilty.
guys in hats.
It's
Yeah.
the Adjustment Bureau in real life.
I love the Adjustment Bureau.
I did
That's a
too.
good movie.
I
wanna
did
watch that
enjoy
again.
that one.
So we're going to talk about 6 other movies that came out this month. One of which, actually, the first movie I'm going to talk about, I think Tristan was leaning towards as a second pick for the movie. For the movie we're going to discuss this month, which is
Okay.
Mrs. Winterborn.
Oh, that's your last choice. I figured you wouldn't like this.
No, it's so contrived, the plot. Ricky Lake plays a character who is mistaken for Brendan Fraser's pregnant fiance and taken into the fold. The circumstances behind this are so wildly implausible
Mm-hmm.
that the suspension of disbelief got a little too great for me to accept.
Mm-hmm.
I
I was a
don't think Ricky
child.
Lake is inherently a bad actress, though. In the 90s, I mostly know her because she was doing that daytime talk show.
Mm-hmm. I think as a kid, I saw her doing that, and then she was in a movie, and I was like, she's pretty good as an actress. I'd see her in other things, and then she never did anything else. It's because
Right.
this movie bombed.
But she did like John Waters Myers movies too, I guess. But
Yeah,
do you
yeah, yeah.
consider those movies?
Well, she was discovered because of Hairspray.
Right.
I think I also like this because Brendan Fraser's charming.
He
This
is.
led me to want to see The Mummy, so I'm fond of this for that reason. It's
Right.
also it goes with the other movie we covered, Guarding Tess, because Shirley MacLaine plays like
Shirley.
the doting mentor,
Yeah.
you know.
She's doing a lot of these roles in the 90s.
I know she's got a
Career
bunch of
kind of took
roles.
a dive.
I know. But these are the things I first saw her in. So then when I went back and discovered her better films, I
Right.
fell in love with her.
Hmm.
But this is where I came from. I understand that they're not good, but what was
Well,
the actual plot? Well, I forget.
so okay, let me try to keep the threads straight here. Ricky Lake gets knocked up by this chauvinist played by Dean Lorne, and then she goes on the lam on a train. The train gets into a derailment. Brendan Fraser, who briefly meets her on the train, happens to have a pregnant fiance. Then she goes to find Brendan Fraser and switches places with the dead fiance.
Yeah, his dead pregnant fiance.
Right. He looks horrified by this description,
I
as you
was
should.
I was scared of train derailments from then on because of this
Oh,
movie.
you didn't like this and Unbreakable.
Yeah. It all works out in the end. It's like while you were
Yeah,
sleeping with
sure
a
it does.
massive tragedy.
It's hard to gloss over that, honestly, while you're watching a frothy romantic comedy. Not the kind of thing you would be thinking about.
You call it high concept.
Oh, this is definitely a high concept movie. It's hard to do an elevator pitch because you'd have to be on maybe 100 floors to go through all the plot. Contrivance must have been a theme this month because the next romantic comedy I'm going to talk about has a high level of implausibility too, which is The Truth About Cats and Dogs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. First of all, I don't buy that they would be friends at any point.
Mm-mm.
Janine Garofalo and Uma Thurman. And then this whole misunderstanding could have been cleared up relatively quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what happens again for the people that
So,
haven't seen it?
Janine Garofalo plays this radio show host who happens to have a program about pets,
The
like
truth
veterinary
about cat
medicine
and
and stuff
dog.
like that, and life hacks for dogs and such. One of the callers is Ben Chaplin. He asks her out on a date. She happens to live in a building with this beautiful statuesque model who's Uma Thurman. She comes to the studio to thank her for an altercation that happened with her boyfriend earlier that day. Ben Chaplin happens to come by the studio, and through a series of wacky circumstances, she asks her to take her place because she's shy, unsure of herself. And then the whole movie transpires from there, and you're like, I just wish these people were not stupid and just could have a conversation about this. He
Mm-hmm.
clearly is enamored with her, so I don't know why she's being so self-conscious. I still think even in a formula movie like this, Janine Garofalo is very sardonic and witty. So she's good in the movie. I just wish she wasn't marooned in stuff like this where she had to do most of the heavy lifting against just a very homogenous template that we had to go through.
Yep, I agree.
But the movie's completely unconvincing on
Yeah.
any basic believability level.
Yeah. This is another one I saw at Blockbuster all the time.
Yeah.
Not a surprise.
Luckily, I think maybe a couple months or maybe a year later, I forget when it came out, she does The Matchmaker, which I think is infinitely better.
Who does, Janine or Uma?
Janine. A movie I hadn't seen up until now, which was long overdue to watch, is James and the Giant Peach.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
I think all the stop motion stuff is fantastic. However, you still have to deal with the live action bookends, which I think are terrible.
I think that was my problem with it too. I was like, ooh, cartoons. Oh no, why do they have
Really?
people in it?
I didn't even remember the live action stuff. That's funny.
Really, it takes up a
I
lot
haven't
of the runtime.
I haven't seen it since it came out, so
Yeah, I want to say almost 15 to 20 minutes at the beginning and the end. So
really?
about
Wow.
half hours worth of live action stuff.
I obviously don't remember that. Well, remember Balto a couple months ago? They did the same kind of thing with a book.
That was a lot shorter though.
I was fond of this film. I just have never seen it again.
Right.
I loved it. I
Yeah?
saw this a bunch when I was a
Even
kid.
even with the live action stuff, you didn't
Well,
mind
yeah,
it?
because I just fast forwarded through that.
Hmm.
And I just watched all the cartoon parts. And then when Freddie Highmore started doing things, I was like, oh, James turned into a real boy. Like,
He does look like him.
I did not realize Richard Dreyfuss played the centipede.
Yeah,
He's great. All the voice acting's great.
you're already
This movie
looking at
really
it.
made me want to try Peaches, and then I was like, nah, not for me.
The live action sequences are a little too earthbound. They're not directed with any sort of style by Henry Selick. I don't think he's good in that form.
Remind me, does he like
He did
turn
Monkey
into
Bone.
No, I'm asking about the plot. Does
I,
he turn into the cartoon from a real boy?
yeah.
So it's sort of like his imagination. I can see why they had that idea.
But then it bleeds over into the live action where it's
Yeah.
actually real.
Mm.
So there's no concrete foundation for any of this. It's kind of nonsensical, if I'm to be honest.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I never watched it again.
Yeah. If I had
It's
to
a
watch a Henry Selick
children's
movie
movie
again,
based on a children's book.
Oh,
nice.
It's
sure.
not a giant piece of fruit.
Yeah, but I was a child and I thought I liked it. Now I
I
don't.
need some internal logic though, a little bit. I would rather watch Coraline if I was to
Oh,
watch a
sure.
Henry Selick movie over.
He came back with that and helped
Yeah.
form Leica.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Hmm.
this was like a couple of years after Nightmare, right?
But
Yeah,
yeah,
93 for Nightmare. This is 96. So.
Yeah.
we were just talking about how Mulholland Falls is your guilty pleasure. I got a guilty pleasure this month.
Mm.
A luridly tawdry stalker movie called Fear. William Peterson, again,
Hey.
has a daughter in this movie played by Reese Witherspoon,
Mm.
who falls under the spell of a very irascible young man played by Mark Wahlberg, and he begins to gaslight her father and try to abduct her by any means necessary. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, I didn't get to it. I wanted to watch it, but
Oh, okay. I think Mark Wahlberg actually has given a really good performance. But again, like as with these other movies I talked about, rationale takes a back seat
that's okay.
to the plot.
I mean, in a film like that, I don't need to nitpick its sense, I guess.
No. So another movie with fear in the title came out, Primal Fear.
I did watch this.
Now this is a legal thriller with Richard Gere playing a unscrupulous lawyer, defense lawyer. Gets the case of this priest and I think it's a woman gets murdered in Chicago. The suspect is Edward Norton, who seems like a very mousy, introverted character who happens to have a split personality.
Hmm.
I don't know how deep we want to get into the plot on this one though.
I don't know if Jeff wants to see it ever. He can mute himself.
Honestly, one of Ed Norton's best performances, and it happens to be his first.
Yeah, he gets a
No.
supporting actor nomination for it from the
I'm gonna
Oscars.
take the headphones off.
Yeah, I'll do a thumbs up just
I
because I
think this
saw it
movie's
last.
mostly renowned for the ending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got a Usual Suspects-esque ending
Right.
where you find out that he actually doesn't have the multiple personalities.
Yeah,
So,
the angry, violent one was the dominant one the whole time. That was the only personality.
yeah,
They
he
made
was.
up the shy, introverted one.
Yeah, you're left to assume that he murdered his girlfriend
Right.
and the priest and whoever he wants to. He might have done other stuff.
Right.
But he got away with it because he forced this lawyer to defend him in a way
Right.
that makes sense. He discovered this new multiple personality defense.
Right.
The one issue I have with it is how did he know every single turn would happen? You know, like he didn't put him up for being insane to begin with, and you can't apply for a defense. You know,
Right.
whatever you say first, not guilty, guilty, has to be its point. Maybe he just, I don't know. I'd have to rewatch it again to see if there's
I
holes
see what
in
you're saying.
Edward Norton's plan. Because then also he slips one last time before Richard Gere goes, but that's more to let the audience know that he's never had these multiple personalities.
Well, and
I'm
also
fine with it. I'm perfectly fine with it, but I'm
when they're
like,
having the
it's so
conversations, like,
good.
so he says, I've been dying to tell you if I'm to be totally honest. So I
Mm-hmm.
think he kind of wanted to slip.
Mm-hmm.
But he also didn't mind
I'm
if he
fine with
did
that.
slip up a little bit because they have attorney-client privilege. So,
Right. He does say that at the beginning of that last scene.
yeah.
I will say that it has a lot of great performances. I'm not worried about that ending. I'm just thinking about it still
No, yeah,
because
yeah.
I just watched it like 12 hours ago. So
Oh, I got you.
I think Richard Gere's fantastic. I think the script's sparkling. Laura
Yeah,
Linney's incredible. And this is sort of the first big thing she did. I didn't
right.
realize. John Mahoney's in it, has a great part.
Frances McDormand.
On top of her win for Fargo, she's
Yeah.
great in this. The film's really tightly wound. And so
Mhm.
you're waiting for something to go wrong. And it really doesn't until that last scene. And I think that's where Edward Norton gets his supporting actor nomination.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a solid film. I'm glad I watched it finally so that
Yeah.
it wasn't spoiled or anything.
I was gonna say it would be hard to do like an Oscar clip for this because what do they show the last scene? Just
Well,
spoil the whole movie?
there's the stuttering, and if you know, you know.
That's true.
You know, just put him up on the stand because you're like, okay, it's a procedural, a courtroom drama.
You're right. It is funny that you brought up the Usual Suspects comparison because even in the last scene, right before Richard Gere, it dawns on him what he just said.
Mm-hmm.
As he's walking away, there's a look on Edward Norton's face where he like kind of smirks to himself,
Mm-hmm.
where he's kind of shocked he got away with it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
so
back. Did I miss
tour de
anything?
force performance by Edward Norton, so check it out.
Yeah. Richard Gere too, I think. I really liked him in
Richard
this.
Gere's real good.
Yeah. And it's interesting because he's a lawyer in this, and this obviously isn't spoiling anything. He then does the razzmatazz in Chicago. So that's kind of a
Ha!
play on him making sense as a lawyer type. And I think
Right.
he's underrated in that. So I think he's underrated in both. This could have easily been a film that we covered because, well,
Right.
I think it was talked about enough then. It isn't anymore.
No, not really. But my favorite movie of the month is Kids in the Hall Brain Candy, which is a cult classic now.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
tanked when it came out. So the comedy troupe Kids in the Hall emerged because at the studio SNL they'd be the kids in the hall who were writing sketches, doing the really off-kilter stuff. I think their show was based out of Canada, and Lorne Michaels kind of discovered them. This is about the development of a drug called Gleamanex, which induces happiness in the brain. But
I like
I
pizza.
think this movie's sublime. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the only one who likes Kids in the Hall?
I've never
I lo
watched
I
any
love
of Kids in the Hall, so this is for Jimmy. Jimmy would have loved talking about this. He loves Kids in the Hall.
I
Always tried to get me to
I
see it.
I like Kids in the Hall. I haven't seen it in a very long time, but I remember loving that. I was just like, oh, this is just like SNL, but like Canadian.
Yeah, and yet it's almost like Monty Python in a way because some of them they're in drag at certain points.
Yeah,
Brendan Fraser actually has a cameo in this.
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Speaking of Brendan Fraser being all over the 90s.
That's cool. I
But
want to see it someday. And would you recommend seeing the show first or just watch this without any
no, you don't have
context?
to see the show. It's
Yeah,
not like
I know there's
they're
sketches,
characters.
but
Honestly, what I would recommend is you watch this and then you watch the revival that was on Amazon,
mm-hmm.
But this is
which is even
like,
better than the original run. The
Okay.
revival that's on Amazon is one of the funniest sketch shows outside of Mr. Show.
Which I've also never watched.
Wow.
You would recommend that too, right?
Mr. Show is fantastic.
I've seen a
Yeah.
couple clips
I mean,
for Mr. Show.
where was Kids in the Hall airing?
I mean, it
Comedy
aired
Central?
in Canada, and yeah, I think it was Comedy Central did the reruns.
That's what I thought. So this is why I asked. Until like 2002, for some reason, whatever cable package we had didn't have Comedy Central. So that's why I didn't see like any Adam Sandler movies, Kids in the Hall, Mr. Show, all these other sketch shows.
Right.
Even South Park, I didn't have for its first like 5 years.
Mm.
All the kids at school would talk about these things, and I'm like, I don't
I,
get it.
I guess it's good.
I don't receive it even, like.
Right.
So cool. I've always wanted to see it. I'm a huge fan of Dave Foley, who's part of Kids in the Hall. So.
Yeah, he's great.
And yeah, Michael or Kevin McDonald.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish they'd all gone on to do something bigger because they all seem funny.
Kevin
Yeah.
McDonald was in something
Bruce
recently.
McCullough does a lot of directing gigs.
I hear his voice all the time because there's an interstitial on Rutgers radio. This is Bruce McCullough of Kids in the Hall. You're listening to
Oh, really?
90.3. So I hear him all the time in my car.
Nice.
Anyway,
Oh, well.
well, this brings us to Poster Boy. Get ready.
Oh
We should have
boy.
talked a little bit before we started recording. You already mentioned two of them, but
Well, we'll find
we're gonna
out.
do our best.
It doesn't mean I know what the poster is. I mean, from this point on, this is when I became a
Yeah, take a
conscious
wild guess at what this is.
House of the Rising Sun.
Do you know what this is?
I'm gonna take a wild guess. So there's a
Mhm.
big orange
We
thing
talked about this.
over a just sitting on grass. I'm just gonna throw. Oh shit, Randy Newman's name is in
Huh.
there. I know what it is. I'm just trying to throw out some other weird guesses.
That's okay. Say whatever
I
you
just
want.
swore we had a different one.
It's just too early
well,
for
we'll
Mars.
get to it.
Mars attacks. Just the entire planet just
That's funny.
comes down and rolls around like a
I like that.
Katamari thing. Or now fuck it, it's James and the Giant Peach.
Yeah. So
Imagine I'm wrong.
imagine
though.
we didn't
imagine
bring
if
that
it
up.
wasn't if we hadn't brought it up, I probably would have said something.
hmm
I thought it was James and the Giant Peach, or it could just be like a Halloween thing. It could just be a
Right.
pumpkin.
It looks like a
it could have
moon a
been.
little bit. I
Yeah,
tried
it
to make it
could.
look a little like Jupiter. It's fine to just see what my Photoshop was, I guess.
It's like a reverse Rorschach
Look,
test.
it's a peach.
What
I showed
could this
I showed
be?
this to Rebecca and
I
she
took
was
the
like,
stem off.
yeah, but look at the peach itself. She looked at that. I took the stem off and she's like, that's a peach, even without the stem. I'm like, crap,
Yeah.
he's gonna know. So I'm just gonna put this out there. Corey and I discussed the 6 movies we were gonna cover, and then I brought up what the poster boys were, and then I said, can we talk about these? And those are the words I use. I'm not calling us out or anything, but I think we confused each other. I said,
Yeah.
here are the 4 things we're going to do. I forgot to do one of them. So I'm going to actually give that to you next month just as a reprieve because we messed this poster boy up so much. But we were going to have 4. So I forgot one. One of them was this. One of them is another one Corey talked about. And I said, can we do all of that? And you were like, yeah, we could do all of those. I think either way, we can still give you points.
Attack of the Killer Fruits. I mean, it could
This
be
was
a
always going to be something you would know because
it
it was such a popular kids movie.
it could be a lighthearted revival of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
They
Hey,
There you
are
yeah.
go.
doing another one.
It's like how they're doing an animated Animal Farm now.
Didn't they do one on
Oh,
like a ship, like a aircraft carrier?
yeah, I think that's the new one, isn't it?
Yeah. I knew you'd probably know this even if we hadn't talked about it already. But I give you this Walt Disney just in case it jogged your brain. And then it's like,
Walt Disney
guess what?
Pictures presents Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Right. It would have been funny. You would have said that. And then there's a little guy, and if for some reason you had never seen it, maybe you didn't know what he looked like, you know? I didn't know if you'd seen it.
Yeah.
So then we have that. Then they have the title. So here's the thing. You're just meant to know of this book. It must have been so inundated in our culture that we would know this was coming, you know?
Yeah.
The guy that did Nightmare making a stop motion about one of Roald Dahl's most famous short stories, right?
Yeah.
So, given that this is it, if you're the marketing executive, would you let this go out without a tagline? Or, since there isn't one, would you like to give it one?
Well, with a tagline, I'm gonna say an adventure as big as your appetite.
Hey, I love that.
Oh, look at
Hey,
that.
Dude, that's good. See, you get points.
Jimmy and the abnormally large produce.
I just,
Imagine if it was just like a boat made of celery. Like what
I
other
wish.
we could go on a whole other tangent about like what if
I
other
wish.
fruits were made out of
It was just about the peach and they go inside the peach, right?
Yeah,
It's not that, that's why I don't remember it. It's not that interesting.
it's not.
I don't think it's a very long story anyway. So all the added stuff, they probably had to add that live action stuff because there's nothing to talk about. Anyway, here's the other one.
Midsummer Origins.
See?
Took me a second to
It's
realize what it was.
so
Bonus
it's a
points.
very blue sky and a very colorful
Happy
field of
field.
wildflowers. Happy field of
We're
wildflowers.
feeling good.
See now you're saying
Strawberry
things and I'm
Fields
just
Forever,
like
the movie.
is
Yeah.
this half baked? Oh, wait a minute.
Do you recognize this?
From the thing we just talked about.
Yeah. Now
I
imagine we hadn't. Would you recognize this from
no,
like
I
the
would have
beginning
no
cover?
idea. I'm like,
Okay.
oh my God, what is this? Like, is this the invention of Robitussin? Like, what the fuck is it?
Yeah.
Because now it's just this giant. What is it with the posters this month just being giant red things glowing in
It
the
was
horizon?
it was late last night as I watched Primal Fear and did these poster boys, or I would have had the peach appear next, you know?
No, you see, where's I was expecting the cat face to show up in the,
Right. I
so
should have done that
it's
though.
Jesus pill because it's also you get Jesus pilled.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now, for those at home that are just listening or watching or don't know what this is for some odd reason, this is Kids in the Hall Brain Candy. This is the poster for that.
oh
So,
fuck,
yeah. Say you don't
I was
know
gonna say half baked, but
what this is. Say you're an executive and you just bring this to someone. What would you come up with a movie based on this?
just with what's on the screen right
This
now,
is it.
no
This is how
people.
they advertise the film. There's not much else to it, honestly.
Yeah.
That's why it didn't do well.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like this, it's really just like the Sudafed movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just a red pill in the sky. Everybody getting red pilled, you know. Oh, there's the kids in the hall.
Yep.
Their yellow lab coats and giant,
I think it's kind of cool, and it's very much
Yeah.
for the fans of the
I
show.
I like the design of this.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I could see why it didn't,
Yeah.
go
So
as mega platinum as it could have.
I'm kind of disappointed. Just keep this in mind next time, because the next one would be perfect to then go to. But anyway, instead we did this.
Aha.
Now you might recognize this.
Okay. Actually, no. I see. All right. So there's some sort of battlefield resembling Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Or I mean, it's because of the distortion, but there's like it looks like a pulp sci-fi cover
It is.
with a castle in the background, the
You'd be
Earth
right.
up in the top, two guys in tubes on the lower left,
Mm-hmm.
and a sharply dressed man and woman staring up into the distance.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say this feels like James Bond meets Lord of the Rings. Just the way that
Cool.
it like the way the tower is in the background
Now,
because
if I
it looks
just gave
like
you this,
Thorin's thing.
because it's kind of a unique thing, but what would you call this, give as a catchphrase, and call as the plot?
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
See, Still good theme.
It's definitely some sort of interstellar invasion movie because I think that castle's getting blown up.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like the day the Earth stood still. There wasn't a remake
It looks like
in
that,
that
doesn't it?
time, but it does feel like, or it's like some Ray Bradbury
Mm.
nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, the Earth is up there. There's some. Is this like Flash Gordon or some James Bond thing? Like,
Well,
there's so
just
many
come up
things.
with your own
There's so
plot.
many things. Well, that's the thing. There's so many things going on.
Sure.
I mean, I'm gonna stick with James Bond finds himself in Mordor, and that's like what a wild concept that would be if he's just got his stupid MI6 gadgets to help him recover the One Ring, and
Yeah.
then he's getting attacked by orcs and then all of a sudden fucking Klaatu shows up,
This is very Ready Player One, but
and then it's just becoming the movie version of Lemon Demon's Ultimate Showdown,
mm-hmm. What would you call it then?
Battlefield Earth.
Bad
Yeah, there you
movie.
go.
Hey, wait a minute.
Bad movie.
Oh wait, that one was taken already.
It would
Look
be
to
funny
the
if he.
look to the skies.
I added some more characters.
Oh, there's more aliens that
Mhm.
also resemble the Mars Attacks people. This isn't Mars
Also, why it
Attacks,
was
is
funny when you said Mars Attacks on James the Giant Peach.
Yeah. Yeah, it does look like Mars Attacks. This is some like pod people thing. Wait, is this Invasion of the Body Snatchers? No, we
Nope.
did Body Snatchers a couple years ago.
Yep. Good job. Good memory.
He could
Anyway.
honestly give you 2 titles, which is funny.
I know. Where did that come from?
Plan 9 from Outer Space. Oh god, is this Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Yes.
Wow.
See, I was
You
the
know
next.
what movie it is?
Yeah.
It was
What
it was
movie are they
planet.
covering?
It was the planet
Yeah.
that showed up.
Yeah, I figured you know the logo,
Yeah, but
but it could go with that background.
yes,
Yeah.
it could.
True.
And also impressive that it knew to make like a Mordor tower in the.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you know the movie they're covering before we move on? Okay. It's
Is
just
it plan? Is it Plan 9?
it's This Island Earth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No.
Actually, a pretty good movie.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, the next thing I would have done was I would have done this. See this, Jeff?
Yeah, with the
So the seats come up.
with the theater
I would have been
seats.
like, guess
that would
who's
have been
there?
what it is.
Not
Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Woo.
The movie. So for bonus points, what is he saying?
Ooh, it stinks. No, wait, that's the critic.
Critic's great.
Now in 3D. Get the popcorn. Skip to the end.
They didn't have a catchphrase, did they?
I
No.
have no idea.
Yeah.
Here we go again. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'll just give it to you. You tried, you didn't get any points.
Every year,
Can't
Hollywood makes hundreds of movies. This is one of them.
This is one of them.
Nice.
It is funny to me that MST3K and Kids in the Hall, both sketch shows in a way, had movies that came out like the same week,
Yeah.
basically.
They're both good.
Yeah, it's just surprising that they're not talked about. We could have covered these. I mean, it would have been funny to do a podcast about a movie that covers a movie within itself.
Yeah.
But, then we're just talking about a show that we liked when it comes down to it.
Did they ever do like a meta version where they just review their own movie?
That
Reviewing a
would be
movie?
funny.
'Cause
I wonder if they did that on like an April
They did
Fool's
out
Day.
riff tracks or something.
Yeah, that would be funny.
like a Riff Tracks crossover.
Aurora Boreas episode. Well, anyway, the fourth film I might slip into Maze just to do, and then you'll
Okay,
just
I'll
have to
make sure
think
to-
back
I'll make
what we
note
did
of that.
today.
I'm going to immediately forget whatever happens as soon
I
as
know.
I
Well-
just cease to exist once this Zoom window closes.
So we were going to think about picks of the month. We actually covered Nick Nolte back when we did I'll Do Anything. Covered Jennifer Connelly way back when we did The Rocketeer, which are very appropriate for both of them. And I was thinking, just because we did Mary Riley last month, but we shoehorned Muppet Treasure Island in with it and covered Tim Curry, maybe we do John Malkovich.
Sure.
Just because I think that makes the most sense. Unless you guys want to talk about Chazz or Michael Madsen or the.
I mean-
Michael Madsen has a pretty expansive.
He does, so I thought
Yeah.
that might not be a bad choice. But what do you guys think? Malkovich, Madsen?
You could do both.
Yeah, why not? Shoehorn them both in.
Um,
I definitely want Malkovich because we didn't get him.
Yeah.
I got-
All right. So let's.
I know what my Malkovich is.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm picking being John Malkovich.
Yeah, that makes sense for you. It's so good. We're definitely going to talk about it when we get to 99.
Yeah.
That's why I like Spike Jonze. I know what Jeff's might be.
Trying to find.
I also have a guess for what Jimmy might pick, though I'm going to text him right now.
I know. I know my Michael Madsen. So.
Oh shit! I forgot he was in Space Force.
What?
I know that's
Oh my
that's a
God.
series, but
Don't pick that.
I like that series. It was dumb.
You would.
What the hell does that mean?
Nothing.
I mean,
You
you're
were.
I
not
saw-
wrong.
I
You're
saw
not wrong, but
Space
I'm just
Force-
wondering what aspects.
I saw a Space Force truck go by the other day, and I'm like, we're really doing this?
Yeah.
Come on.
We went to go visit the Air and Space Museum a couple years ago. Whatever one is out in Ohio. We went to the gift shop and they had a Space Force thing. And it was just like, and I bought it ironically. But now I don't know if I can wear it anymore because they're actually like, it's a legit thing now.
Right.
Well, it's like people wearing an army hat.
Right.
If it's really
But then
going to exist,
it's like
we should do it
stolen valor
legitimately.
at this point. I didn't go into space.
if I got a gift of that hat, I would wear it. It's like supporting the football team that's for Navy,
Right.
whatever. You're
There you go.
allowed to.
Okay.
It's just weird the way it emerged. I think in the future we can make it legitimate. I mean, how else do we get to save the planet with Ryan Gosling,
Yeah, he's done a lot of
It's gonna
things.
have to be Space Force.
He played Herman Mankiewicz.
My guess before I pick mine
Yeah.
for Jimmy, I'm gonna see what he says, but he really likes Of Mice and Men. So I think
Yes.
he might go with that, but we'll see if I'm right.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of good choices later in the 90s, action films he's a part of. We even talked about it back when we kind of half covered In the Line of Fire.
No, yeah.
Jimmy and I watched that for the podcast, and I think he liked him in that a lot.
I did like The Man in the Iron Mask.
Mm-hmm. He's good in that. I know what I'm picking though.
Okay.
What's
Yeah.
that?
You have a guess?
Death of a Salesman.
Oh no, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Actually, he did a lot of plays on screen.
Yeah.
He's very good at, but he came from Steppenwolf, didn't he?
Yeah, I
so.
think
So
so.
that makes sense for him. Did you have a guess, Corey, before I say?
Mm, Burn After Reading.
Mm-hmm. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a schwing?
I
know that's Brad Pitt's
That's more
line, too.
Brad Pitt's
I
line.
know it's to him, but I can't say that. I can't quote him in that. He's just so good. He's so manic and so angry.
Yeah.
It's the best part of that film is John Malkovich, one of the great actors showing up in a Coen Brothers film finally. He just knows the comedic timing. Plus his name, Osborne Cox.
Yeah, it's a great name.
So good. Yeah, so I think those are pretty good choices for his career. He's had an interesting time in
He's an
cinema.
interesting guy. Like
It's also, I know this is simple, but it's funny that he was going to be Sam Raimi's Vulture. I was thinking about this while
Right.
thinking of doing him for this. He was going to be Sam Raimi's Vulture, and that just never came to be. And then he got into Fantastic Four last year, First Steps, and they cut him. So he's
Yeah.
been two separate villains that never existed in Marvel.
Right.
Is he meant to just not exist in Marvel? He kind of has, but he isn't. I also really like the idea that he's going to be in a movie that comes out in 2115. What are the chances that we see that in our lifetime? Because it breaks. I don't think we're seeing it in his lifetime. You know what this is,
yeah,
Jeff?
someone will. Yeah, I've heard about this. Where it was like a car commercial or something, wasn't it?
It's a film called 100 Years. It's directed by Robert Rodriguez. It's an experimental science fiction short film. John Malkovich is in it. It's to promote Louis the 13th by Remy Martin, a cognac. It
Right.
takes 100 years to create. It's locked in a safe for a century. So they filmed it in 2015, I believe. Yeah, it was filmed or announced in November 2015. It will be opened in November 18. There's a high-tech safe behind bulletproof glass that will open automatically on November 18th, 2115, if we're all still here. And 1,000 guests from around the world, including Malkovich and Rodriguez, have received a pair of invitation tickets made of metal for the premiere, which they can hand down to their descendants. The safe in which 100 Years is kept was showcased at the 2016 Cannes Film Festival and various other cities before returning to Cognac, France, and the Louis XIII cellars. Okay.
See, we need
It's the most Malkovich thing
now.
to
We
happen.
need a heist
Right.
movie for this
About
movie.
getting it. That's the
Yeah.
Being John Malkovich sequel.
Right.
The heist movie to see it in our lifetime.
Yes,
It's so meta. It's
I
so
love it.
perfect.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Does he have kids?
I
He,
think
he was
so.
he was married to Glenn Headley, and he's married to someone else now, Nicoletta Perron. I don't know if he has kids. Oh, right. You mentioned last episode he had the affair with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, that's right.
He does not consider himself a method actor. Okay, bud.
Well, he doesn't. Well, we pointed this out before. He's like Christopher Walken in that, like,
They
he's
just
just
shoot
John
around him.
Malkovich in everything that he does. Like, he doesn't act. It's just they write the roles around John Malkovich would be great as this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not really like he's a good actor because he's just a fucking weird guy. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't really think he has to contort himself too much to make
Yeah,
it
like
work.
Jeff
I feel like,
Goldblum.
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
I
he's
feel like
very
a,
much like Goldblum, yeah.
I feel like a lot of these roles are written for him.
It's the epitome of character actor, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
But even like character actors, like like Kathy Bates plays different people.
She
But,
became
like
a leading actress.
she has a right, but she has a range.
And I
John
guess you could
Malkovich
argue
has
all of
the
these
same
people do, too.
performance, and like the movie is sculpted around his performance.
Right.
Fair enough, yeah. Even in something like Man in the Iron Mask, right? That's your
Yeah.
choice.
I don't know. I'm
That's why
sorry.
being John Malkovich was a perfect idea.
Yeah, which is why I'm trying to figure out how to watch it without spending $4 on Amazon.
I might have it,
Okay.
so we should watch that. I'll put that on the list.
That's on the real list.
He's, by the way, so French. His children are named Amandine and Louis. Loewy. I kind of love it.
There's no silent X in there.
I love everything about him.
I love it.
He's a little bit of a whack, but that's okay.
He's like the type of guy that like you'd love to meet, but you don't want to like look at him the wrong way because then
He'll stab me.
he
Yeah.
he like has ways of making your life a living hell
Yeah.
for the slightest inconvenience.
Yeah.
He doesn't get mad, he just gets disappointed.
Speaking of disappointments, our next film. Yeah, I couldn't resist.
Nice. Love it.
I also picked this next film. It is not disappointing to me, but it disappointed at the box office. The film The Arrival, not to be confused with the 2016 Arrival, sees Charlie Sheen as an
Astronomer.
he keeps track of, yeah, I guess he keeps track of the stars is the description of astronomer. He works at a lab that discovers that aliens are coming or already here. I forget exactly how it happens, but it's basically an alien invasion movie. The
Right.
Arrival. And I won't give anything else away because some of it's pretty surprising, but I think it's a very solid sci-fi film. And one of my one of the better Charlie Sheen performances, I think, especially at a time when he's kind of derailing. He
Right.
still puts in this performance. Yeah, I'm excited to see if you like it. I know you haven't seen it, Jeff, right? Have you ever seen it, Corey?
Nope.
Yeah, I have seen it. I like it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our discussion about Mulholland Falls. We did not push it over the edge, but we'll see what happens next month. I'm glad just for making some mistakes, we won't be disappeared.
You know.
Mm.
But so I'm like, why are there all these lords of things?
You don't think we had chemistry? Got to throw Piggy into the volcano.